A side step right left to my beat. I like the moon rock with me, baby. Know that I got that heat. Let me show you 'cause talking shit. Side step right left to my beat. Get it, let it roll. Smooth like butter. Pour you in.
All right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE. Joined here again by the usual misfit bandits. We got Big Z.
Hey, here we are.
Got Ewok.
Hello, KeyForge community.
And Dan.
I'm almost alive.
What do you mean almost alive? What does that mean?
It's almost time to be live.
Oh.
Uh,
Teaser.
Got it. We're not going to get to live play quite yet. Obviously, we will be answering some questions that we have received about KeyForge Live. First, we got to start. First, we got to suck, right? With why I suck at KeyForge.
How about start with talking, my friend? Talking.
We're going to talk today, too. But why I suck at KeyForge. Dan, why do you suck at KeyForge this week?
Well, I'm back to sucking, and I think it comes down, I just haven't been putting in any prep work for games. Mostly in the ABR. Sorry, Aviator. I have tanked our team hard, but I've won one game there, and it just, I don't know. I show up to the game, load the deck, and go, right? There's very little prep work going on, and I think I've fallen into my own trap of just believing draw better is going to carry me, and I tell you what, I cannot draw better anymore.
Are you wearing your draw better shirt while attempting to draw better?
No, because I have a hoodie, and it's too warm for that.
Yeah, it is a little...
that's why that's what's wrong. You need to buy a Draw Better shirt from our website. Get the Draw Better AC logo shirt, and you'll win more of your games.
Why I suck at KeyForge shirt, which I think may be more appropriate for me these days.
Yeah, that is now also available. I redid the design. So the why I suck at KeyForge and AC team Draw Better shirts, both now available over at our Spreadshirt, along with the KeyForge Live event shirts. So you guys can get all those over there, shop.spreadshirt.com/Archon's Corner /. So
you lost the Coke game we were supposed to win this week, too.
I know, I got put in reversal, and we built our coat thing around basically guaranteeing a reversal win, and I got rolled. And
you didn't get rolled. It was real close, but you did lose.
I didn't. I felt
you got
like
lucky with Crass. You had it. But anyway.
Yeah, that game, I felt like we'd done a little bit of prep work for. And I just couldn't deliver. I don't know. I did get very close in that game.
Well, we know the secret. You need to be wearing your Draw Better shirt.
That's right.
I think it works. I went 4-0 in a Sealed Dark Tidings live event 4 days ago, and I was wearing the shirt. I did better. I went off.
Speaking of things we need to do to prepare ourselves, obviously, we do have KeyForge Live coming up, and that means we're not going to be on TCO. So some of the things that we're normally used to TCO just doing for us aren't going to be present. So what are some of those things that we obviously need to keep a lookout for as we return to live play?
I'll start off with the first one, and we can just kind of trade around. So, the first and foremost is basically take the time before you hit the start match button at the very beginning. Look at their deck list. Look at your deck list. Go back and look at their deck list. The little pop-up version. Do not look at their deck in DOK. Don't look at your deck in DOK during that time. And then once you click start game, don't ever hover over or click on their deck list again, because this is not information you have available to you in any form of live play, even at the casual store events. It is just not something that is known to you during the game. If you need to know what certain cards are there, you needed to commit that to some kind of memory during that 2-minute deck list evaluation, which is why it is written into the rules from all iterations of the rulebook. All right.
That's going to be an interesting one. I'm actually quite interested in this, because I feel like DOK, obviously, in the, on the internet play has become obviously a big part. So you're able to kind of look at their deck and make determinations on a lot of
and
things.
And it's not just looking at their deck either. Like, it's telling you all kinds of
It tells you all the information you
things.
need to know, right? And you're not going to have any of that information.
See how many creatures they have,
right?
Like,
and now you have 2 minutes basically to commit a deck list to memory and go, and then you don't get to look at it again. You're done. After 2 minutes is up. That's it. It's over. It's done. You can't look again. You can't. There's no link for you to click now again where you can just take a peek at. Oh man, I forgot this information. It's over. So that's definitely going to take some practice to get used to again.
For sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've built some really bad habits being able to look at that deck list. That's where we're going to talk about some key pieces. So the next one that I had was counting amber control cards. This is a piece that when we were in real live play before, it's an important piece to be able to you have your 2 minutes. What are you using that 2 minutes for? I want to go ahead and look at your list and then say, okay, what can you control my amber with? What is really the focus? I'm going to put that out there because if you can start to see that archetype, what does that deck want to do? Is it straight rush? Is it going to go ahead and try to control? You can see a little bit more of what's there, but counting amber control cards. And I'll take it a step further and see out of those amber control cards, which are your large scaling amber control, which I've previously looked for, but really what are cards that frankly require you to have an instant response? I think that's big versus I need to have a creature out and then it needs to have an action because I can control those pieces. I still think it's important to know, but I need to know big swinging amber. I need to know what's impacting it. And how much is it, how viable are those cards? Is it something that can be played to be able to respond immediately? That can determine, are you playing to 6? Are you playing to 7, 8? Are you playing to 10? What are you really aiming for in order to try and forge a key? And be realistic, because if you only need to get to 6 and they're going to go ahead and sting you, if you go big and you're bursting to, let's say 10, 12, that could be the difference in that game. So again, those 2 minutes, extremely important. Count your amber control cards.
I'll add to that a little bit and kind of like tweak just one thing. Ewok hit basically the perfect topic. It's not necessarily like I don't need to know or memorize or learn that they have like Naughty or Yanti Gang or Freebooter Fae or any card that actually has to land on the board and use or reap to check me or lash for that matter, like any of those. I do not need to memorize to me any of those cards that are in their deck. I need to know what cards are coming from what houses on play that affect my amber control, like my key costs immediately or take amber from me immediately. So I do try to commit a concentrated effort to know that here's the 3 houses. This house has 3 cards that can remove amber or check me. This card has 1. This house has 2. And then I add a specific, catalog and memorization for Too Much to Protect, Doorstep, Graft. Mostly Too Much to Protect and Graft now. A lot of the other stuff that could potentially hurt you that scales really big, in some extent hurts them too, or at least they're not getting the double up swing against you. It's really Graft and Too Much to Protect that will really punish you. If you're not extra careful, you could win the game for them.
I am waiting for my first. I forgot that was in your deck.
Yeah,
because it's going to happen, and we're going to hear it.
It will be there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know, Dan. When you and I went and played just DT sealed release, there were a couple times we heard it. Oh, that was there, and you're learning brand new cards. So even here on the decks that we know, getting back into real life, you're going to have people. Yep. Oh, forgot about that one.
So I think when we're talking about counting amber control cards, which is skills we all were pretty good in practice in, but very few of us have practiced these skills with mass mutation being live, because now there are capture pips, and since you're only going to see the Archon card, so you can see what creatures are enhanced, and if you have the skill, you can see what where the pips or what pips are in there. Like, that's a skill all on its own to be able to look at a card and count the pips in it are accurately. Like, I remember when MM came out, I was practicing that, and then I got lazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it very well anymore.
It's tricky to know what all the cards that have capture. Like, I could challenge a lot of people on our team, and I bet, I don't think we would do that great to here's a deck list. What all cards in this deck are creating capture pips? Because, you see, all the information you'll know is the cards that are enhanced. It is then up to the player to figure out which cards are generating enhancements if they so choose to figure that information out. Which honestly isn't terribly that relevant if it's Amber Pips, damage, and draw, because that just is what it is. It's just going to be a function in their deck. It is very relevant if they are Capture Pips, because of what we just talked about, because those are additional elements of Amber control that you could potentially know where they are. Hence, if all of the enhanced cards are in one house, you need to go look at whether those are control, like Amber control cards, because that affects what we just talked about.
Yeah.
And if they're not, you're safe.
I think the other thing, so there's definitely Pips, which is also a Dark Tidings skill now a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to, it's much easier in Dark Tidings because there's a lot less
than any other thing in Dark Tidings.
Right, but there's a lot less generators, so you don't. There's not a lot of 20 Pip decks where you go, you have no idea what's where. But that's the problem. At a point in a deck where you're looking at, and a third of the cards are enhanced, and there's 20 Pips, like, I don't even know if it's valuable to even know what can happen, because it's so random at that point. I mean, I suppose it's important, but it just feels so random. I don't know what you can do. But I think when you're counting these Amber control cards, and definitely as Dark Tidings comes around, you got to be very careful when they have Star Alliance, because Star Alliance, good Star Alliance sets can play every house and use it all in the same turn. So when you're saying things like Hobnobber, and you go, not a big deal because I'll know it's on the board, if they're playing Dark Tidings with Star Alliance, that Hobnobber can pop out of nowhere and nail you.
Yeah.
So that's a set that I think it's even harder, or especially when Star Alliance is in it. It is much harder to be able to look at it and easily know what to expect to happen, because there's so much crazy cross-cheating in that set and that house specifically. So that's something...
Well, and Logos in Dark Tidings also has Phase Shift. So that's there's two houses in Dark Tidings that legitimately have a shot to fire crazy stuff off house.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Together and Triska together.
Triska and the Diplomat.
That's a Diplomat too. Yep. Right, like it is.
Or Espion. All of these things are house cheating like we've never seen it. Dark Tidings Star Alliance does have more house cheating than ever before.
So I think it is actually, when you see that, you need to think about that as Amber control. Like those cards become better Amber control cards. I think that's something people miss.
We didn't mention it, but like depending on the deck, if they have Phase Shift, when I'm doing my Amber count check, I count Phase Shift as an Amber control card. Depending on what else is in their other houses. Like if they have 4 routine jobs and a Phase Shift in Logos, Phase Shift is a routine job. Just is.
Let's talk about artifact control. Kind of one of the last few things we have on the list right now, as far as things we need to kind of remember for live play return. It goes two ways, right? Like you need to see if they have a potentially game-winning artifact out in relation to your deck. If you have an answer, that's an answer you're going to have to hold. So, like, I'm looking for, do they have Dab? Do they have Auto Encoder? Do they have Heart of the Forest? Do they have Quixelstone? If my deck has an answer, that I know that I can't just, like, play it for an Amber Pip on turn 1. That means you gained an Amber and probably lost the game, depending on how important that artifact is. And then on their side, as far as your artifacts, what is their Amber control? Do they have Borrow? Do they have Snecklifter? If I play my Auto Encoder, am I handing them the game? If I play my Obsidian Forge, am I letting them forge with it with a remote access or a Hornswoggle? There's tons of things that can happen with artifacts that go both ways. So you always need to be aware of what their artifact control looks like in relation to what artifacts that you should and should not be playing, and then what artifacts they have in relation to what your artifact control is, to know how important it is and whether you need it to potentially not get dunked on by some random crazy artifact. Because it does not matter what set you are in, there are crazy artifacts in all 5 sets to a game-winning magnitude. And that's real big, right? Because like we're not going to be. We're going to be able to look at our opponent's discard pile, but we're not going to be able to kind of keep this constant tabs on it.
Yeah. So like we've already talked about 2 things. Like that's a lot of it's not as much information to artifact to remember because the biggest ones stick out the most, right? But like we've already talked about having to go through the artifact control. Now, I mean the amber control as far as what that looks like, the potential of it being very, very complicated. And now we're talking about artifacts, and then one of the final ones, which the recent meta that we've seen through the KFPL and our AC events that we've held here is, Dan, what is one of the most important parts of the meta right now that was totally different a year and a half ago?
Creature bombs. Just creature flood.
Yep.
Creature flood. So what do I have to look at now? Probably 10 times more than I had to look at, back in the, even going into the Worlds Collide days, it was becoming a thing, but we really weren't there yet. Like, what do I need to know about creature control?
Archon art. No?
What'd you say?
The Archon art?
No, not the Archon art.
You failed.
Wait. You're talking to Big Z, right? Like this. There's art in this game? Wait, what art? When did this happen? No.
Yeah, the big C cards, right? The creature control is important. You got to know how many board wipes they're able to pull out.
Well, and because the meta is so significant, like if you're playing one of those creatures decks, like it's important how that big C looks. Like Gateway is obvious, everyone knows what it is, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You can kind of plan for it, whether you build board or take advantage at some points of time, which we've talked about in our cast before. But like we have a lot of weird C now that's actually really good. Like we have Grand Alliance Council, we have Quintrino Flux, we have Red Alert, we have Infighting, we have Selective Preservation, Grand or that General Order 24. Like there's a lot of like really good C out there. Spirit's Way was reprinted in MM. You kind of have to know what it looks like because there's way more than there used to be. It used to be like, do you have Gateway? Okay, no, cool.
Okay, what about Spirit's Way making my power counter based Untamed house useless?
Exactly. Like there's
like, hey, I got power. Oh wait, now you just kill everything easier. This game's dumb.
And to some extent, like it's going to take reps to get used to playing against different types of C all the time. But that's one of those things on DOK right now. I can just kind of look at that and make an evaluation mid-game. Like, okay, do I play into this? Do I play into that? But I'm not going to be able to look at that in live play. So I need to get way more familiar with, in that 2 minutes, what their creature control looks like and if there are ways I can take advantage of it. That becomes like a third tier thing because, again, it's only 2 minutes. How much can you really commit and internalize? I think my answer to this is just play more in a live format, or if you're playing online, stop doing the things that we just said. Don't look at their stuff after 2 minutes.
Stop doing all the bad habits that we've grown accustomed to.
I would still really love to see tournament mode.
Yeah.
On TCO where you it's a checkbox and you click it and it does it. Like it doesn't even give you their deck name. You just see their deck for 2 minutes. After the 2 minute timer, the deck lists go hidden to the opponent, and game goes on.
I would also like to see that, actually. That would be great. To the point where, like, you can't click on your own deck to see what's coming down the pipe, too. Like, that's not something you can do. Yep. Like, stop clicking on your draw pile. You do not have this information, and, like, 99.999% of the players that play this game cannot do that by memory. There are for sure people that can. Most of you are not one of them, and if you're one of them, you don't need to click on it anyway. So that's what we. Oh, go ahead.
So what's really interesting to me is, again, you hit on most of the major ones, but I'm thinking of the last two sets with MM and DT. There's some very specialized board wipe or creature control cards that are essentially one-sided. I mean, I'm looking at Kurzap, and I'm going ahead, like, you start to see some of these, even the idea of Numquid with, okay, if you see Numquid there, it's not complete creature control, but being able to go high on them, that has an impact. So a lot of these, reprints or just cards that are there.
I forgot Numquid, but that's a great one. That's an added value of, like, a lot of people feel super safe with their big warded Worlds Collide board, right? Like, they landed Numquid, which is now also a Dark Tidings card. they can clear your entire board whether it's warded or not. Like it's like dead, pop forward, kill creature, pop forward, kill creature. They can just keep going until y'all are even. And there's some other great cards out there that like don't have that kind of effect, but even like bouncing Death Quirk in the right
PDQ,
decks
yep.
is real good. I mean, like it's in MM. It is, I think, also in Dark Tidings.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it fires really, really good because in MM you have all those destroyed effect creatures. In Dark Tidings you have the guy that you kill and it wards your neighbors, and you get more BDQ hits. Like there's lots
Old
of different creature. Old EGAD is real good with bouncy Death Quirk. Pretty much not any other time, but real good if you have that card.
I think remembering to be able to play around Red Alert and infighting are
Yep.
two things that are going to actually make a difference in some games going forward, right? Like,
yeah, my own ABR game this week was a Dark Tidings versus Dark Tidings deck, and had I not played properly against infighting, I think the outcome could have been very, very different. But I saw that he had it. I was like, okay, we're going to, scale up this way. When it does ultimately get played, I'm not going to get board wiped, and it very easily could have board wiped me had I not been paying very close attention to my creature placement. Like I don't think there's any card in this game that makes me play as deliberate when I'm placing creatures than infighting. And that's something to look out for in Sealed DT if you so get to play that, or in the survival sets if you're playing against the Dark Tidings deck.
The other two that I want to say real quick that jumped out at me, Maelstrom and Sleep with the Fishes. Man, the right deck, Sleep with the Fishes, can be absolutely killer and just one-sided. And the idea for Maelstrom, that can be game ending if it's timed at the right time. Like you're putting, especially against MM, where you have all these creatures, Worlds Collide too, you got a lot of creatures. Oh, we just shove that back and then they're completely useless. And the ability to determine I can kill off my own creatures by fighting and put very few back in my deck. Oh, brutal.
For sure. Well, and even in-house, you have Abandoned Ship, which combos itself. You can return them instead of putting them on top of your deck, Maelstrom, and replay them. Like, there's definitely some very annoying scenarios in
Maelstrom
in
Maelstrom is definitely a game-winning control card against
a lot of decks.
board decks.
Mm-hmm.
They just,
which is a lot of decks now. There's a lot of great decks coming from Worlds Collide and MM that have 20-plus creatures.
I think we're gonna have a lot of fun watching Survival, being all sets legal, all sets open.
Nothing restricted, nothing banned.
Restricted, nothing banned.
We're supposed to be saving that discussion for later, but I think putting an interesting Dark Tiding deck in your Survival mix is advantage because people are not used to playing against it. Like even with the amount of online play there has been, they don't have the cards memorized. They don't have the interactions thought through. So if you've got something, I think it could be a very strong contender, even if it's not as good as some other decks, just because people can't grok it. When they look at the deck, they don't realize what's coming.
All right.
For sure.
Let's move into some questions about KeyForge Live. Obviously, there's...
What's KeyForge Live?
What?
Yeah.
What's KeyForge Live?
Dan, why don't you tell us what KeyForge Live is?
Yeah, it's time to talk about KeyForge Live, which is the big live event that Archon's Corner, with the help of others, has decided to put on, which is going to feature a 3-deck survival, a MM Sealed, and a team tournament, all with cash prizes. This is July 23, 24, 25 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can find us at keyforgelive.archonscorner.com. There's lots of information all over. I'm sure everybody here has actually heard of it, but it's going on, and now Wookie's been getting hit with some questions, and we're going to answer them.
So these are all questions I received multiple versions of. They may have been stated differently, and if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I guess send it again. But so these are just kind of 10 questions that have been surrounding that I've gotten questions on through Twitter. Number one, I want to come. Where do I sign up, guys?
You sign up at keyforgelive.archonscorner.com, and our site looks like worlds better than it used to. So a special thank you to Cloggin and the Steel family for helping us with that. The 4 people on the cast right now don't do that, at least not very well.
Some
I
of you
do
have seen
that.
my
I'm
paint
the
skills
not
on
very
some of
well.
our other artwork. Yeah.
I've seen Dan's paint skills. They're pretty top notch. He's a world class MS paint user.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will go ahead and say that website that's been put together, and it keeps being updated because we are working on a flying aircraft at this point. It's pretty solid. It has kind of the whys, the organizers, when and where. It has links for like what is actually happening. It has tabs for registration. We now have the accommodations piece that's up for our hotel block. And so please, if you have not checked that website out again, go ahead and make sure that you go over and check that out. So KeyForge live.archonscorner.com. It really is getting a lot better and it's thorough. And I'm really, really impressed to see what everyone's put together because it's not my ability. I have no ability to do that. So thank you.
So why did we choose Milwaukee and not a more populated center such as Chicago, Texas, or Seattle? Seattle was one of
Okay.
the ones that was added in there, but
You want to start this one off, Ewok?
Yeah. So the short answer is we threw together our idea. We went ahead and we're like, hey, we should do a live event. And 3 of us are in the Milwaukee area. And out of simple ease, so 3 of us don't have to go ahead and fly. That's why I put it there. I looked at what was in my area. I mean, one of the first places I threw out was my local, like down the road spot, but it wasn't right next to the international airport. So we can use Milwaukee popped up. It has an international airport. It actually has good proximity to quite a few driving areas from Chicago, from Illinois area. We have the Twin Cities in Minnesota. We also have Indiana. We have Ohio. There's lots of different driving areas that you can get to Milwaukee pretty easily, or you can fly into Milwaukee. And when I say close, the hotel that I chose literally is across the street from the airport. So the little tram or bus that goes between that location and the airport, you can get dropped off and you can come right in. It has access for parking. It has access for people who are driving, for flying. And I'll be honest, I'm selfish. As someone who's organizing, there is so much work. I cannot express this. There's so much work and so much money that has gone into this from this
that's
group
true.
and others. And I'm not getting into that,
No.
but I'm making it easy on myself. And that is put it close by. A long time ago when we had gone down to Indy, I think Sheep, Wookie, myself, there were a couple people in the car, and we had joked about putting together, like, there should be a Vault tour in all 50 states. That'd be kind of cool. That idea, that was not why we did this, but Wisconsin gets kind of pushed around. Here, Milwaukee is a big enough area that we can go ahead and make it drivable or flyable for everyone. And with it being close for me, I looked at what works for me. And so I'm glad that you are all coming here and you get to view and be a part of our sweet state. There's great beer. There's cheese curds. Hey, it's summer here. We don't have snow, so this is the best time,
to
man.
add a little bit to that, it wasn't an entirely selfish thing. I did look into Houston. I did look into Vegas. Houston doesn't have quite the pool as far as people that can drive to it, or Dallas/Houston, because at that point, everyone in the Northeast has to fly. Everyone on the West Coast has to fly. Most of the people in the North have to fly. It's just not a convenient place to get to. Which is why we probably didn't see a vault in Texas until the very end, like literally before the world ended. This is our first vault. Maybe it's the curse. Have a vault in Texas, end, period, done. And then there were a lot of people that wanted a West Coast event. Again, same issue. You're basically isolating the entire east side of the country, especially if you're going to Sunday. That means anyone that's flying back Sunday is basically having to take off work Monday too. That's saying, like, I know a lot of people would love to have an event in that side, and then the East Coast is the same thing as the West Coast. So in the end, Vegas would have been a great one, but when I called around, it does look that there was too much uncertainty about Clark County's current status as far as hosting live events like we are doing to commit to a Vegas location. But that was way up on my list because it has regularly cheap flights because of the other attractions, and that's how they get their money in that city. And lots of people would have wanted to attend for other reasons too.
I will also throw out when we were looking, because this is, whether people realize it or not, this is our money that's in the background. We have some help coming from two very, very generous people who are doing a lot of the tech side behind. So again, thank you, Sydney and Cloggin, for helping. But guys, this is we love KeyForge. When we say that, we truly mean it. And so we did have to keep in mind the spot requires money. And not just a small amount, but we've paid for that. And so the idea, even going down to Chicago, there's a different price point when you're in some of these larger cities. So Milwaukee offers flexibility for driving, for flying, and it offered us at a price point with all three of us being close by that, frankly, it's something that we can still stomach. Whether we realize this or not, we all have separate jobs, and this isn't our primary piece. And we've all invested time and money now in order to make this successful. And we want it to be successful. So please come out. But all of that has to be thought of in regards to putting together an event.
I just figured we had
in spite of our efforts, FFG has still not sent us any kind of marketing budget because I think we earned it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think Milwaukee has a better airport than Albany, so it passed that checklist for me. So, yeah, we picked Milwaukee because ultimately a lot of us have never really run this big of a con. So we wanted something where we can actually drive and deal with the people face to face and see what we're working with, where if we'd gone anywhere else, we would be 100% blind until the day we showed up. Maybe Chicago, we could have taken our drive down there to look at things, but it would have been a lot larger time investment in prep, and we didn't actually have that much time to do a ton of scouting.
But hey, who knows? If this goes super well and we're not all dead by the end of it, and you want a live event in your area, and you have some local businesses that could potentially help with that happen, send me an email. We can talk. Maybe it'll happen one day.
All right. Will there be an online offering for those who cannot come out?
Not by us.
Not by us, no.
Yeah.
We are staff for the event. We're working on who's doing what logistically. None of those logistics included an allowance to offer an online portal to the event. We will have streaming, though, hosted by...
Me and Cloggin are getting the tech... I don't even want to say the technical, because we both know how to do it. We're just pooling equipment at this point, so... There will be streaming
all days.
One way or the other. Me and Cloggin, actually, after we're done recording this, are going to kind of discuss the details of what I have, what he has, and how big, because obviously we're going to have side pods going on. Sometimes events are going to be happening congruent with each other. So how do we do, multiple tables at the same time? We've got a lot of ideas. That we could hopefully kind of bring more nonstop action as opposed to just one main table that requires equipment. So we got to figure out what he has and what I have. So
this is breaking news. I don't even think the rest of us knew that. This is fancy.
Yeah, we thought we're hey, there's the main table typically, just because those decks are a little bit higher powered, that game ends quick.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's this game's over, but there's still 30 minutes left in the round.
Can we do a Z-Cam where we suction cup one to his forehead?
You want to just... We could. If somebody has a GoPro, I think we can wirelessly link it to OBS so we can just see what Z is doing at all times.
Oh, goodness. God. Oh, my God.
but to redirect us back away from that topic, I will say that, Wookie, you've done previous Vault Tours before, and so you come in with a ton of experience, having put together, I believe, at least 2 different Vault Tours.
Yep. We did Indy and we did Collinsville.
Correct. So with that, there's experience, and that's what we've been relying on, is just tapping on different community members to be able to help, because this is a dream project for us, and we're going to have fun with it. We really are about, let's get together, let's be safe, and let's go ahead and have some fun playing KeyForge in real life. So I honestly, I feel really bad about that. Will there be online offerings? I wish. From our Archon's Corner community, there's so many international people that I would love to see and to be there. And if I could get them here, we were joking about scubaing across the Great Lakes, or, flying. We just don't have that financial means or the ability to allow your country to let you back home, or vice versa. If I could put it together online, that's a whole nother piece right now that with our short time frame, if something happens in the future, maybe, but for this event, it just wasn't in the cards. So please forgive us. And if you can make it, great. And if not, and it's something you could support us with, again, that GoFundMe page is there. And that's what we're really asking
Yeah,
is just to
for
try
sure.
and help for anyone who can be here. Because again, we love the KeyForge community and we're just trying to put it on so everyone can have some fun.
And there is still, and we're big supporters of the KFPL and Swindle tournaments. So there are other online tournaments. They may not be on the same weekend, but there are other great online tournaments you can go play. So we did not feel the need as Archon Corners to provide a major online tournament at this point because those exist.
Yes.
But we want to actually shuffle our cards.
That's
All right.
true.
Besides cash, because obviously knows our big prizing right now is cash. What other prizes will be there? What other prizes will be offered at the event?
That's me. Okay, for our main event starting chronologically, yes, that word, we are going to have the survival comes up first, and then other than cash, the number one prize, the number one player, the one that wins the biggest cash pool, will also get a set of luxury play style keys with a display case. This hasn't. We're gonna break this very soon. Probably be broken after y'all hear before you hear this. But they agreed to officially sponsor our event, so we're super happy about that. So you'll get the luxury playstyle keys for winning that survival event, and you will also get. We're gonna have 2 large tapestry banners at the event, 2 or 3 of them. The winner of the survival will also get one of those to take home with them. You can put it on the wall. It's, I think, going to be 50 by 60 inches of KeyForge live amazingness. So
it's going to be complete bragging rights when you are not rolling around in decks, but you'll have cash that you can just lay out around it after go ahead and go through that. And just take the photo for all the KeyForge community. We'll all be very, very extremely jealous, and it's going to be awesome.
That's for sure. Like, because while all of your friends might have a playmat or whatever, or 50,000 of them, you're going to be the only one that has the KeyForge live tapestry hanging in your background of your setup at home. Okay, and then we're moving on to the sealed event next. In addition to the cash prize, there will also be another set of luxury playstyle keys with display case. So again, thank you, LP, for that. Those are amazing. They look fantastic.
Thank you, LP.
And if you haven't seen them, they are worthy of a display case, for sure. I used some at one of the locals here recently, and the person had never seen them, and they were like literally amazed. They're like, "What is this made out of?" I was like, "I'm pretty sure there's some gold in there." Other than that, I can't tell you. Then additional prizing for the sealed event, other than the cash and the keys, is there will be a top first place sealed mat that there will only be one of in existence. We're only making one, so the winner of that will get a custom play mat. And then very similar to how the Grand Championships worked, there will be 16 play mats for the top 16 of that event that you can only get in that event. Moving on to the team prizing, that is their 4-round event. That is very much how like not Shadow, but how the Real Worlds event was going to be, but just 4 rounds. The top team will get a custom mat. It will be custom to that event. The 3 mats will look the same, except it will tell you what slot you played in. So it might say, we haven't done the design spec specifically, but it would say something to the effect of like live team champion, and then like live team Archon champion, live team reversal champion, live team adaptive champion, and then the art on the 3 of the mats will be the same. And on top of all that, we'll have side pods firing if we get attendance numbers to where we hope to see them, and which looks like they're getting there fairly quickly. We'll have some other 4-round events. We will have tons of OP prize materials. We'll have additional event custom mats to give away. I believe we have some dusk runners. We have some sealed product that we will give away in additional prizing. And yeah, I think that is yeah, there'll be tons of mats, keys, trackers, at least one dust runner that I know of, maybe more. We're talking about trying to get our hands on some of the earlier prize kit material that some people have not seen before. I know a lot of the locals around here haven't seen some of the very early stuff. But yes, there will be tons of side prizing for the pods and any other 4-round events we decide to fire while we're there. We have plenty of additional product we are getting from LP as well. We are still deciding we're going to slide that in. But there will be additional amber, some stun tokens, like a lot of the LP products that we're also getting for the event will be there.
And we're still working on more ideas because some of us think other things are cool and we're willing to just pony up to make them be there.
Right. Not everybody thinks
again,
everything's a thing.
But we're not willing to promise anything either because we have 6 weeks to make it happen.
Right. Makes sense. So, this is the big one and the one I've received the most of. Why Mass Mutation and not Dark Tidings? And
Okay, so-
kind of like a weird two-parter, will you run a DT event in the future?
Okay, so I chose Mass Mutation over Dark Tidings because Mass Mutation got skipped. Like, I didn't get to play in a Mass Mutation Vault Tour styled sealed event, and I think that is a giant miss for KeyForge. So I want to see it happen. So we chose that because I believe that there will be major KeyForge events run before the next set is released, which means there will be DT sealed. I think there will be a DT sealed Vault Tour. So I don't need to run that because they're going to do that. But they're not going to come back and run MM most likely.
Yeah, I don't think they would. And
So-
I 100% second what Dan's saying here. MM is by far my favorite set to play. And I would have traveled anywhere in the world to play MM Vault Tours.
Yeah,
Sealed. Yeah.
for sure. So I think I don't want it. I don't want Mass Mutation to miss its chance to see a big, Vault Tour style sealed event and see what comes out on top. Is it going to be the pips? Is it just going to be a good all around deck? Who knows what it's going to be in a sealed environment?
There's so much good things in MM. Like a lot of the sets have a dead house, almost completely dead house, or dead-ish house, unless X, Y, and Z happen. There aren't really dead houses in MM. Now that I've played it way more, like a long time ago, we had shadows kind of on the bottom. Honestly, it still probably is near the bottom, but there are really great decks that have shadows in them, and they're good because of the shadows. There's really good, like, Saurian stuff out there. Like, there are really good stuff in every house that are played at really high levels inside of MM. So it's just an amazing set that never got its, like, true time to shine. We don't know what's going to come out on top in a sealed environment because we've never really seen it. So,
Well, and I'm going to go ahead and take it a step further and say pips are surprises. They're exciting to be able to see how this unique deck honestly transforms with just adding a few in. And then you get some of these decks that just have quite a few different pips. That interaction it's really, really neat. And so it's a lot of fun. Give it its limelight.
all right.
So-
Ewok,
all right.
I believe you're asking the next question.
Yeah. So there's a rumor of this being a grand championship. What do you guys say about that?
Well, we
I-
started the rumor.
I have tried my hardest to make it a grand championship, but the chance that is true is pretty low, but it's not zero.
Yes, as we said last time, we don't think the odds are high. The odds still are not high, but we have not been given an official no. Haven't heard anything in a while, but we will let everyone know one way or another for sure what it's going to be. But we are hoping. But again, the odds are low. Not great either way. I think at this point we have a very good set of prizes for all of our events, and at this it'd be purely an additive thing if that does happen. And we'd be excited to have it.
We definitely built this event around not having official FFG prize support and sponsorship. So if we got it, that would be fantastic and make this even way more awesome and really show that FFG is still supporting the game, and that would be great. But if it doesn't happen, then we can just wait for their Vault Tour, and we will just have our stuff until then.
Sounds right.
All right. Will you all be there?
I think yes. All of us will be there.
Yes.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. All of us are planning on being there. And we actually have quite a few different friends that have already reached out saying, hey, we're coming up. People from the East Coast, from the West Coast, and from, we'll go ahead and say, our southern United States. We have international people too. So I am very excited that Archon's Corner can all be present, and I'm pretty excited to say that we're going to have a lot of our friends there. So again, regardless of what happens with FFG, we're going to have a great group of people because I've been behind KeyForge community. So come out, play, have some fun, see us, and we'll see you there.
I have a lot of people I need to re-meet in a way and catch up with. I don't know if I physically actually have enough time to do that, but I'm going to do my best to catch up the best I can. All right. What's next, Ewok?
All right. What made you want to try such a prestigious event?
Oh, prestigious, huh? I mean, Dan and I had been joking about, right, Dan? Like a long time ago?
Yeah. I mean, it's as with the KFPL, prestigious KeyForge events beyond Vault Tours are only going to exist if people make them exist.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is we run this podcast. We've been doing this a long time now, almost every week, and we talk about what we want the most. And like, I'm off for summer, based on due to some of the recent events in the world. We haven't been doing much, so there is some money that we have to spend because, I mean, because there have been not 12 Vault Tours in the last 12 months, I have saved 12 Vault Tour visits worth of money. And why not invest that in the hobby I love with people that, I mean, I guess love's a strong word, but hell, with people I love. Supporting the game that we all play instead of complaining about not getting to play KeyForge. We can make it so people can play KeyForge.
What stems from an AC get together? Like, well, why don't we get together and just play some KeyForge? And then we're like, why not play with everybody?
That's right, and that everyone that can get here. Hopefully, we'll see lots of people. Hopefully, people are going to try to put some effort into getting to our event because we're going to try to make it worth being at. It's billed as a KeyForge convention. We're hiring staff. We have staff that have run and participated in the development of other events and conventions. So we're seeking out people that have the expertise, and we're going to do our best. It's the four of us. It's our first time or whatever, but we are seeking advice from people that are in the know to make it the best we can. All right, what's next?
All right.
How will money be distributed for the winners? So there are cash prizes, or there's money available for all of our 3 different events. So how will money be distributed for the winners?
I think that gets fielded by me again. We will accept cash day of, and we'll have like the little safes and stuff. But as far as payouts, it is going to be either to a PayPal or a bank account. If it is via PayPal, it will be able to be funded to the players the weekend of. If it's via a direct bank account, either through Zelle or something like that, it'll probably be resolved and paid out between Tuesday and Wednesday, because I'll do that. But I'll do that. I have to drive back to Texas, and I'll do that from here when I have more time to exchange proper information and everything. But we are going to require the winner of the bigger cash, all of the cash prizes are fairly big, to be able to accept it via PayPal or bank.
I just want to say I did lobby for quarters or space dollars, and they told me no.
Yes, here's Amber.
I need to see your what these space dollars look like.
It's going to be our new cryptocurrency.
Did you make it in MS
Space
Paint?
dollars.
Did you make it in Microsoft Paint?
No, you will actually get a chair, and it will be within a few days. No. We have money that is coming to you. It is all set up. Again, this is our money that we're putting out, and it's from. Again, it's there. You will get it, and it's going to be in a very, very timely manner. So that's what's extremely exciting. I still vote to be able to have a big, giant, fat cardboard check and then message you on the side, but I was also ruled down. So no space dollars, no big check.
Have you seen that episode of The Office? That check cost $200 to make. That's one of my favorite episodes.
I can make a legal-sized one in paint. So, I'll work on that. I'll put it on my to-do list.
Perfect.
All right. Let's finish up. Number 10.
Final question.
Will there be any events for KeyForge Adventures?
Our intent is to have nice copies of KeyForge Adventures available for use. And we have spitballed ideas on how to actually run events for them or pods with them, which we may still come up with a pod format but we haven't struck gold in our minds, but they're definitely going to be there. They're going to be available to play. So if you want to play some KeyForge Adventures with pickup groups or friends or sealed decks or whatever, they're going to be there. You can definitely do it. If anybody has really good ideas, we're not opposed to help on some of this stuff. So if you got a really good idea for a KeyForge Adventure pod or event, go ahead and send it my way, Dr. Sheep, and I will see what we can do with it.
For sure. And if we don't come up with a great official way to do that, just know that we're going to try to get as many copies of the adventures for public use. Not like you can't keep them, but we're going to get as many copies for public use as possible, so that people can sit down and play them day of the events.
All right.
The only other piece I want to throw out there is if you have any feedback as a whole, what you're seeing. Obviously, Wookie got some of these questions via Twitter, but our Discord channel is also open. So hit the four of us up. Let us know. And we want to keep seeing how we can make this event the best that it can be with us, with your help. And please let me know. Put it out to Ewok Jr.
All right, boys. I think that's going to do it for us for this week of Archon's Corner. We got some questions out of the way. We found out why we all suck at KeyForge, what things to look for. Next week, what are we going through? A little teaser for next week.
I do believe somebody wants to know what is competitive Dark Tidings, or what do competitive Dark Tidings decks look like?
All right, so...
And then I need you to pick my survival lineup for me.
Yes.
So you'll have to tell me how to do that, too.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Tune in next week. We'll be talking about what is competitive DT looking like, and some survival tips and tricks, because obviously that's I think that's the biggest prize we got, right? Is survival at $1,000, right, for the main winner?
Yeah, the main winner will get over $1,000 in cash and the luxury playstyle key set.
So
and
obviously something you might want to sign up for. So tune in next week for that. We'll go through that. Any other questions? Obviously, go to the Discord. You can keep sending to me on Twitter if you so desire. Otherwise, archonscorner@gmail.com. We'll collect those and kind of keep you guys updated as we get new information, because obviously new information comes by almost daily, I think, at this point.
Yes,
so we're finding things out kind of as we go along with it as well. But until next time, you guys got any final thoughts?
I hope to see as many people as I can at Live on July 23rd.
Mr. Ewok?
I was going to go ahead and say the same. Please let us know. Keep in contact. KeyForge community is great, and I hope, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all. I'm not even hoping. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in person and playing in real life. So hopefully we'll see you soon.
And Mr. Dan?
I'm hungry.
Oh, all right. So we're out. We'll see y'all next week.
I'm the nice guy. Got the right body and the right mind. Rolling up the party, got the right vibes. Moonlight.